Michael Steele.
I am Verna Smith at the National Action
Thank
Network.
you all very much.
And here to address the crowd is Chairman Michael Steele of the
absolutely
Republican National Committee.
To be here at the National
and we will hear what
Action
he has to
Network
say.
and to spend a few moments with you sharing some thoughts and insights that I think are pertinent and important in these times. Certainly, I want to thank the Reverend Dr. W.F. Richardson for his leadership as chairman of this wonderful organization, and certainly my friend here. And Al is right. He and I have spent some time on the campaign together. We've spent time at various events together, and at all times we've talked about how do we move forward. And he has been a strong leader in that regard. Controversy has never followed him, so I agree he's not a controversial figure. But then again, neither am I. So it is one of the things about my job that I love is an opportunity like this. Quite frankly, as a national chairman, it has a certain flavor and a certain flow to it that is very, very one way. And I came into this job thinking that maybe we can do that and some additional things. We can have conversations with communities that have either been ignored or taken for granted or not respected. And certainly that is the case here. I have to say that for certainly that one of my predecessors, Ken Melman, in his speech to the NAACP, made very clear at that time the commitment of the party to reconnect in an important way. Not to convert, not to change anyone's mind, but to engage in a dialogue and a conversation about the issues that impact us every day, where we live. This job for me now allows for the opportunity to get out and challenge the assumptions about who Republicans are, what we stand for. Certainly, and to invite those who are not part of the party, not part of our traditional base, if you will, to join us in promoting the most for the most people. Because at the end of the day, that is what it's all about. Certainly, I work every day in this job to, as I like to put it, turn the elephant. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever had to turn an elephant, but the end you have to start with is not necessarily the best place to start to turn that elephant. But it's important work. It is important work. Certainly in my efforts and the efforts of the state leadership around the country and the national leadership across the country to take the grand old party and make it the brand new party is one of being committed, one of being engaged, and one of listening. Listening. Such an important part of what we have to do. The solutions are there, the opportunities are there. How we arrive at them may be very different, but if we're moving towards them, that's the thing that matters. I learned very early in my political career a lot about listening and learning. And I also learned when I was Lieutenant Governor of Maryland that the challenges that you face sometimes may surprise you, and other times may cause you to question. But at all times, you should be prepared to face those challenges. And certainly, one of the lessons that I've learned in the challenges that I've had in this job is that you can't please everyone, but you can certainly make them all mad at you at the same time. And apparently, I'm pretty good at that.
Are you mad at Michael Steele?
I think you may have some experience.
Do you want to talk back to him? As I said at the end of this
video,
I would like for you to join the conversation, leave a comment here, leave a comment on my blog. But as I said,
when I
Michael
became
Steele
Lieutenant
is
Governor
telling
Maryland,
his side of
first
it.
African-American elected
First
statewide
African American, as he said, and I want to hear your points of view. So again, join the
conversation. There I
conversation.
sat in the office, and the archivist of our state capitol told me, came into the office and said, well, you realize the office of the Lieutenant Governor was the former office of Thomas Jefferson, third President of the United States. And I went, you got to be kidding. And he said, no. He said, in fact, they had some period pieces like chairs and stuff. and there was a chair that they had a rope over it. They said that was one of the chairs from the time Thomas Jefferson used this office when Maryland served as the capital of the fledgling country. And I was like, great, and I go to sit in the chair. And he's like, you can't sit in the chair. And I'm like, but it's in my office. And he goes, yeah, but it's an antique. You can't sit in the chair. I'm like, but I'm the lieutenant governor. I can sit anywhere I want. And he goes, no, you can't. You may break the chair. I said, I'm not going to break the chair. I mean, he said, but it's an old chair. I said, but it's in my office. Well, they took the chair out of my office. So, but every day I would walk into that office,
Michael Steele,
knowing that Thomas Jefferson worked in this
chairman
space.
Of the RNC, Lieutenant Governor of Maryland.
And I thought about
and
how important it was
in that
to
position,
be there.
as I said. What are
and
your
I would
thoughts
sit
on
there
Michael
from time
Steele?
to time, and I would think to myself,
moving up,
Thomas
moving
Jefferson
down.
must be saying to
Will
himself,
you be going
how
anywhere
did
in
a
the
brother wind up in
RNC?
my
Join the
office?
conversation. And of course, I welcome you at this time
Well,
to visit
Sally
my blog
Hemings knows
at
how I wound up in that
www.zipinpolitics.com. www.zipinpolitics.com, and of course let's go back to hearing Michael Steele, RNC Chairman,
no matter
addressing the audience
there,
at the annual conference of the National Action
No
Network.
matter how long it takes, we get there. That has been the story of the African American experience in this country from day one. You build a nation on your way to getting there. You build a state on your way to getting there. You build a community on your way to getting there. Which brings me to the American dream. Because that is so much a part of what we're trying to get to. And it is what moves us and shapes the very rhythms of this nation. The idea of the American dream invokes different images, not only in terms of what it means to be an American, but what it means to have success in America. Now, when you were growing up and you heard that phrase,
for you,
American
what does it mean to
dream,
have success in America? Again,
take a minute and remember how it
politics.
made you feel.
We're talking the media.
What it
We're
made you
talking
think.
the role of blacks in this country.
Did it sound like something that was
a
part of you?
This is Vernon Smith.
Was it something you
for
owned?
Issues in Focus.
Did it always
National
feel like it
Convention
was your birthright?
in New York City, Sheraton Hotel and Towers.
Because for many Americans, that's what it felt. That's what it meant. But for many more, it did not. Some thought they owned it. They grew up expecting it. It was part of their DNA. To chase that American dream was just part of being born here in the land of the home, land and home of the free and the brave. But has that been true in our community?
For Issues in Focus, and we'll
Was
sign
it
out
true
at
for
this
you?
time. But again, join
When
the
you heard the
conversation.
phrase, was there ever a
Sending
little
your
part of
thoughts
you
on
that
Michael
felt
Steele.
like
How
you
do
were
see
on
him?
the outside
His role
looking in?
as the RNC candidate.
We
Join
spent
the
many
conversation
decades
and join me
on a
again
different
at
dream.
zipinpolitics.com.
The I have a dream
I repeat,
dream.
zipinpolitics.com.
Because you can't dream the
This is
American
Vernon
dream
Smith
until the Constitution
for
applies
Issues
to
in
you the
Focus.
same way
Talk
it
to
does
you
for
next
every
week.
other
And
American.
again, join the
Until
conversation.
your life and your liberties are valued equally.